Okay, example 3. This is a complex fraction. So a complex fraction is when you have fractions within the numerator or denominator of a fraction. So the example here is 2 divided by 1 over x minus 1 over y. Okay, so they show you two different methods. Example 3 and example 4 are different methods. I'm going to show you how to do both methods with each example. So for number 3 here, I'll show you both methods. So the first method is to just focus on the denominator at first. And so we're going to add the denominators together. So my lowest or my least common denominator for these two denominators is xy. And so I need to multiply this by y over y. And I need to multiply this one by x over x. And then I end up with 2 divided by y over xy minus x over xy, which then is equal to 2 divided by, again, we're just simplifying this bottom part right now. So this is y minus x over xy. So if we see this as this divided by this fraction, then we can rewrite this as 2 times the reciprocal of this fraction. And this is, of course, then like 2 over 1. So I get 2xy divided by y minus x. That's my answer. Okay, the other method for doing this, or you're starting with the same equation. The other method for doing this is you find that lowest common denominator, or least common denominator, which is still going to be xy, and you multiply the whole fraction by that. So I'm going to multiply this by x over y, x over y. So I'm writing this as x over y in the numerator of a small fraction within the fraction. Just so you can kind of see how this works a little clearer. And if we think of this again as 2 over 1, so now in the numerator I have 2xy over 1, which is just 2xy. And then in the denominator, if I distribute this to both of these, then I have xy over x, right? Xy times 1 over x is xy over x minus xy over y. Xy times 1 is xy, 1 times y is y. Okay, now here's the trick. X divided by x. This is all multiplication, so I can cancel. So x cancels out, y cancels out, and now I just have 2xy divided by y minus x. Same answer. Magic. Okay. Oh, sorry, I was off the screen a little bit. But you look at that. Okay. So 2 ways of getting you there. There's no right or wrong. They'll both get you there. It's just whatever you're more comfortable with. The more complicated they get, probably the easier this method gets. For the simple ones, this method is easier. For the more complicated ones, this can just get cumbersome, and so this becomes easier, but honestly, they'll both work. Oh, what are you doing? A rabbit nibbling at my ankles. Okay, last example. This is the same skill, so I'm just gonna do this in the same video. 7 divided by x minus 2. There's the numerator. Okay, so using both methods again, in my first method, I can just get rid of the fractions in the bottom. Combine the fractions in the bottom. So I'm going to multiply this by x minus 2 over x minus 2. And I'm going to multiply this by x over x. So then I get 7 divided by x minus 2, all divided by 5x minus 2 over x minus 2 plus x over x times x minus 2. And then add. Okay. So now I have combined this into one fraction divided by one fraction. So now I'm going to change this into a multiplication problem. So this is 7 times x minus 2 times the reciprocal, x times x minus 2 divided by 5x minus 2 plus x. And then I'm going to multiply. So this is 7. What, honey? You don't have a Zoom today. Tomorrow I think it's 11, but I haven't gotten the email yet to make sure. Oh. Alright, I am going to distribute this before I multiply these because I'm making a mess right now. So this is 5x minus 10 plus x, simplify. So this is 6x minus 10. Alright, so this is x minus 2 times 6x minus 10, which is, let's see, I can simplify that, and I get 7x times 6x minus 10 is my answer. Okay, that's the first method. And then the second method I need to find the lowest or least common denominator of all three denominators. So x minus 2. This is nice because they're already factored for me. That won't always be the case. But I need an x minus 2 and an x. So there's my least common denominator. So I'm going to multiply this whole thing by x times x minus 2 over 1 over x times x minus 2 over 1. Yeah. They're like a week old though, so I can't promise they're going to be delicious. Sometimes if you microwave them in a wet paper towel for a minute, it steams them and freshens them up. Or like 30 seconds, I guess. Okay, so now we are going to multiply these. I'm just going to show you the whole thing. Times x minus 2 over x minus 2 divided by, I have to distribute to both of these, so 5 times x minus 2 over x plus 1 times x minus 2 over x minus 2. Okay, so then I can cancel out anything that matches. And now I've canceled out all 3 of these denominators. That's the goal of this whole thing, is to just get rid of the denominators. So now I just have 7x in the top, and I have 5 times x minus 2 plus x in the denominator. And then I can distribute. So this is 5x minus 10 plus x, so 7x over 6x minus 10, and we get the same answer as the other method. Sorry about all those interruptions, but here we go.